Hello, Flimsy Lunch Tray here with a video topic discussion within World of Warships, and this is going to be taking place in the Islands of Ice Domination mode in the Tier 10 US Destroyer gearing in the Gold League of Ranked. Now, before I do get into today's video, I just want to let you know that a little later on in the video, the audio quality is going to get actually bad. Something happened with the replay file, don't know what happened, but I'm going to turn the volume in-game down, but it's mostly the chat box is what I want you to focus on today. Having said that, as you've noticed, there's an interesting topic. The way I've titled this video is that haters gonna hate. And this is something that if you're a World of Warships player, 10 times out of 10, you've already seen this. Whether you're on the receiving end of it or another player on your team or the enemy team is on the receiving end of it. If you haven't seen it yet, you will at some point soon. And so today's battle is going to feature not myself, but the Venezia, Poseidon's Maelstrom. Now, I do want to make it clear that I'm not trying to shame him or something with doing this video. He's going to be questioning a lot of decisions I make and not being a supportive destroyer player. And if he doesn't understand, that's cool. But I guess I want to open it up and ask you guys, was the Venezia player right? Or am I fine with how I played this battle? This battle is going to be a loss, pretty bad for our team. As you can already see, the Venezia player has already begun to question my decision, as he's wondering, why haven't I gone straight for the cap? And I'll get to that in a moment. And then the third thing I want to highlight, beyond haters gonna hate, was the Venezia player right? The third is be confident in the decisions you make as a player. With that being said, let me walk you through with what happens here. So you may have, if you haven't watched my video about how to win ranked, or key to winning ranked battles is patience, go watch that. That will really help give you guys more of a background of why I'm doing this video in particular. But you may have noticed in the beginning of this battle that I had let my team know in team chat that I am RPF'd, radio position frequency located by an enemy destroyer. Which means I do not have the element of surprise in being able to squeeze into a cap. And the second thing that was going against me here is that I was trying to find out what this Des Moines was, as I'm not even going to look because I detected him. I'm expecting him to pop his radar at any moment, and he does there. Which means with the radar, a Des Moines player, unless he has an active radar with the upgraded module that goes, let's say 46 seconds, I'm just going to put myself in a really bad position to be in the cap with his active radar. And the third, which is going to be related to the map, and kind of to give you guys an idea of why I didn't just YOLO into the cap. A lot of players and destroyers, there's two camps for destroyers. One is that other players on your team expect you to, as a destroyer player, to rush right into a cap at the beginning of the battle and take it, right? And so you rush in, you try to contest the cap, and let's say that Summers that's here, the Des Moines, the Smolensk, the Yamato that's in the background, right? I get radared, I die instantly. My team, you'll notice the team without you, idiot destroyer player died at the beginning of the match, typical. And then there'll be the other camp of players, being more the approach I'm taking, whereas I don't push right into the cap at first. I take my time being patient because I want to know where the destroyer is at that's taken a cap, and I want to know if there's radar cruisers around, or even radar destroyers. And so my role is to be patient at first. I want to gather my intelligence, I want to gather my resources, but then this is another group of players that criticize destroyers. So you criticize if you go right into the cap and you die instantly. You criticize if you don't go into the cap instantly and wait and take a more patient role like I'm doing. A lot of destroyers face this, right? A lot of destroyer players go through this. And so with this particular map, there's three things working against me here. And I mentioned two of those, one being the radio position frequency located. I'm RPF located, so it means I do not have the element of surprise in being able to take alpha cap. The second is the Des Moines in the background with his I'm going to assume upgraded radar means that if it's a roughly 46-second radar, so I'm just going to assume worst case scenario, it means that I'm going to have a really difficult time in trying to take alpha cap, and I'll just have to leave alpha cap and take unnecessary damage. The third is, particularly with this alpha cap, you have 3 hotspot zones for torpedoes, where enemy destroyer players or even cruiser players with just yellow torpedoes in 3 particular stretches on this map. The first is coming from this side. An enemy player will just yellow torpedoes behind that small island within the cap, because a lot of players just rush, they go there and trying to take the cap, and you can see that if I had done that in this case, you can see the Smolensk is almost in a pretty good position to blast me there, but torpedoes usually come behind that island. The second spot is the right of the island, right in front of me. There tends to be a lot of torpedoes coming through there, especially if you're a cruiser trying to use that island to help you. The third is the island on my right, is if you're a destroyer player and come up through there and an enemy destroyer is aware of your presence there, they'll throw torpedoes there. So it's just really a dangerous situation as a destroyer player when people just typically just yellow throw torps in, which is not a bad play. It's what you should do. But it's better to just wait and find out where that's going down at before you enter in. Now you notice that the Venezia player, as I've kind of said, to just focus on chat, as you can tell the audio quality is rather poor at this point, is that he doesn't want to back up our Conqueror player, as you can see he's further behind us, because that I will not or refuse to spot. I have 5 spotted ribbons at this point in time. And yeah, and that Summers is definitely going to be take out the Conqueror. Is, I think, a bit of a misplay on the Conqueror's part to push up in, but with the way the battle was going, something needed to happen, right? And now that I see that Des Moines is no longer at alpha cap, I'm going to turn around and go for alpha cap now. Now that, especially since the Summers player is gone. And then our Venezia is going to sail and go towards the other cap, but it's not going to be in time with how this battle has befallen. So, and what I want to highlight here is you can be pressured as a player by teammates or even enemy team players to do things that you don't feel comfortable with as a player. And you should play, I'm going to say this with a caution, you should play according to how you feel comfortable in the ship you're playing with. Gearing is a ship I feel very comfortable and very confident in playing, right? And I know how the gearing works, and I know how to, I've played a lot of ranked, I have a pretty good idea of how things tend to go in ranked matches and how patience is important. But there's a thing of being too comfortable where you don't push up in, where you just sit right in the back, so on and so forth. So this month is going to push, and I'm actually just going to exit out of the cap here as we go to post-battle results. But I want you guys to just comment feedback. You know, I'm not saying that I was right with the decisions I made here, but was the Venezia player right, and was I just completely wrong and I should have played this differently? Given that I've shared with you RPF'd, radar located, so on and so forth. Now you can see the battle was just pretty miserable. We only did 15,000 damage, but you may have noticed I didn't lose a star. So what does that mean? It means we actually ended up on top of the team, as the next screen result will show, and the Venezia player is going to be, and we'll follow this up with a drum roll, second from the bottom. Now, I'm not saying that the Venezia player was a bad player, because this match just, we were not that far in and the match just went south. But when you have this type of scenario with how I'm a destroyer, there's only so much that a destroyer player can do. And again, I just kind of want to emphasize with you guys who are also destroyer players out there, like me, or like playing destroyers, is we tend to get a lot of pressure from other team players on doing decisions, and you should just be confident in yourself. And that was a battle. If I could go back and change anything, would I? The only thing I would change is I would have gone into A little bit sooner. Immediately once I realized Des Moines was where he was, but it wouldn't have been enough to change the battle with the Smolensk rushing, because there was nothing I'd be able to do against his DPM. But really, there was nothing I would change about that battle. I still would have played it the way I would have played it now. And you're going to have blowout matches like this where us as a team, we didn't do really good. Our Z52 kind of yellowed against that gearing and just instantly ate torpedoes from him going on that island. The enemy team they really played this match right. And when you're dealing with an enemy team in this type of scenario, who have the Des Moines player knew exactly what he needed to do, the Summers knew what he needed to do, the Smolensk knew what he needed to do, the Yamato knew what he needed to do. As you saw, he got a kill on one of our cruiser players on the opposite side of the map. And they had positioned themselves really well. And hats off to enemy team, they did really good. And there's only so much you as one player can do in this type of setting, in this type of match. But this is something that you're always going to see. It's always going to be part of World of Warships, is that you will see haters going to hate. I don't know else how to phrase it. This is what I prefer as a player. If the Venezia player, instead of cussing and wondering what in the world am I doing, if you came forward and just typed in chat, hey, Gary, why aren't you pushing right into the cap? I expect you to do this. Then I would actually utilize finger muscles and let him know why I didn't go into it. But some players just aren't worth wasting your breath or the muscles in your fingers on to type back in chat. As you saw, I didn't really respond to him. But I guess there's more of a response in this video. And this is just something, it's part of World of Warships, unfortunately. In World of Tanks, they've already disabled the all chat, where you can't see what the enemy team is saying, like we have here in World of Warships, where it's only just your team. But in this example, it was from the team where we saw haters gonna hate. And part of it is also understanding how other ships work, and being aware of the map and just what is going against players. So I'm usually always one who will wait to the end to reserve judgment or my opinions, versus just blasting in chat at the beginning of a match, angry with some player. Because something I've tried to work on is just being mindful of my interaction with other players. I really want to be an encouraging player, positive guy with teammates and enemy team as well, versus being toxic in chat, which I'm not going to lie, there's been some times that I've done that. It's been a while, but I've kind of had to sit myself down and just say, hey, I don't need to join the haters gonna hate club with other players doing questionable decisions that may have resulted in the loss of a battle. As Jingo says, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. But instead, I should try to help my team win the best, even if it doesn't look like, oh, I know we as a team aren't going to win. How can I be a positive player encouraging my team in chat, even after if I'm dead, or we're still trying to work with what we have. And you can see in that battle that I had, that I referenced at the beginning of this video, haters gonna hate, or not haters gonna hate, patience, the key to winning ranked battles, is that was a battle that we were super behind. Enemy had over 700 points, our team had 200 points. And we managed to pull a victory off in that, because patience is what wins ranked battles. It doesn't work the same, I would say, with random battles to a certain extent, just because of smaller, not as many players in the matchmaking when it comes to ranked as you find in randoms, because randoms has its own feel of its own. But patience will often win out. So go check out that video if you haven't seen it already. And again, let me know what your thoughts on this battle. It's not that I'm trying to justify my actions, but this is just something that I've noticed, and I want to tell to you as a player, if you have been on the receiving end of toxic chat, whether that's from an enemy player or your own team, mates, just be confident in the decisions that you make. Don't feel peer pressured, because that just takes the enjoyment out of the game, because this is just a game, right? At the end of the day, it's just a game. And if the players want to be super competitive, you have clan battles, so on and so forth. Ranked is also a good place for that, but at the end of the day, it's still a game. It's not something getting worked up over or smashing your keyboard, so on and so forth. I know a guy who actually he got so mad while playing World Warships that he had a heart attack. If the game's causing you to have a heart attack, don't play. But yeah, just be confident in yourself. That's all I really want to say to you guys here, and just trying to wrap up this video. So if you found today's video topic interesting, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Comment, let me know what you thought about this battle, and also what you're seeing as a player when it comes to this type of behavior in World Warships. And subscribe if you want to see more. And if you have already subscribed, thanks so much, as we are on our way to 100 subscribers. So pumped to draw in on that as well. So until next time, take care.